every single time, so you have to be careful. But like the desk said, consistency is the name of the game. And you talk about tournament management, there are a lot of players at the top of the leaderboard that are just better at doing that.
Oh, absolutely. And especially when you have a home zone next to you, you want to make sure that game goes great. 6th place is not too bad. For Stash Malabuka and Shizo, though, will be that focus to see if they can really push their leap forward. Just a 2-point advantage so far, and things got to a tiebreaker last week too for 5th place, meaning every elim will matter right now. Sabahu, Asitam, and TIDI will be rolling in.
Already picking up 1 elimination, and Saba doesn't want to get too aggressive. They only have that SMG. Don't want that teammate though to get back to theirs, and unfortunately they will. Pressure will be there. They're looking for any extra angles and actually going to find minis up there, and that is worth it every single time you can take them. But SMG 26 bullets really has to rely on their teammates to push up. As you see, Tidy does have a shotgun, does have builds to really get aggressive, but these are one of those spots, again, it's like Steamy, it's very awkward to fight in. It's also very awkward to defend. You have to break all the walls around you, but then everyone's going to know where you are.
That's minimal mats. It's kind of scuffed. Basically like a boxing match, but with no ring, no gloves, and no cameras. AKA, why are they even doing it? Go somewhere else on the map.
Well, and we've seen there's so many other places as well.
Got some value. Misty's kind of open, you know, definitely contestable. But sometimes you got to send a message. The Tidy will take a long time sending that message. Might be at this station, but looks like the cellular data might not be getting that entire SMS across. We'll get our own little message coming in, Clay. That Mustache Mabuka Shizo still on top. That 2-point differences with Floki Clement Deciptos. Mark, Artist Ori, Lizen as well with Eric, and who were low ground the last game, are going to be a part of the conversation. And Jose Crow and Deox are there too.
And this is why this fight is awkward, because it's always going to be drawn out. No one wants to hop in because of these doors. You can't really build around. There's frames that you can't get rid of unless you pickaxe them just perfectly. But Top is going to go in. Tidy trying to go for it as well, but now they're going to even the fight now down to a 2v2. But no, going for the finish is going to take them down. Unfortunately, Top got a little bit too greedy there. They do get the finish, but now it's up to Fancy. Can the shots actually hit there? I don't think they're going to be able to. They don't really have a lot. If I'm them, I grab whatever reboot cards I can. I launch pad away, and then I try to make my way back. Again, you've got 5 minutes. That completely changes the way you can think about this game. Goes to the shotgun shot and misses the crucial one, and unfortunately going to fall down. Zone's not here. They've lost their teammate. It's going to be awkward.
Should be a reboot close by, hopefully. Should be fine for them. They should be used to probably, especially, you know, in Cash Cups and the open formats right before this, getting a little bit of a leg knocked off while they're trying to get their game started. They'll be right back, no issues. This is also the trio that kind of changed last game so drastically. Backfeed, Zest, and Hydro pushed height when Aqua had it, and, you know, completely changed the game.
What is his loot? I'm sorry. Is there something I'm missing out on here? It's Stealthy. I know it's one of my favorite POIs, but a legendary AR and a legendary pump. I'd love to see the rest of the trio's loot, but it just seems like they've got a leg up already on the rest of the competition.
I definitely have the firepower, but when it's on this trio, they're so passive. They don't really like taking fights with other people unless it's very pre-planned and advantageous for them. The loot never matters that much. If you're not box fighting, then, you know, the pump isn't going to be the biggest difference. They're just looking for that maximum damage. When it comes to endgame, though, when they will contest height or maybe try to knock off another team on their mid-ground layer, that's where things end up changing a lot. But they'll take their time getting this game going.
And I think Stealthy is one of these POIs that has actually really benefited from the floor loot change, because there's just so many more chances for floor loot to come through for Stealthy, and you're seeing it in terms of loot here. No, I feel like no matter what trio we see, they land here, and I mean, just look at what they have. They're max on shield all the way around, and I like that yes, zone is just now moving, but considering everyone else is still looting up in their POI, look, they're the first ones to move. And we talk about teams and empty spaces. Look at the bottom left-hand corner of that map. Sludgy was very minimally hit. Weeping Woods was hit as well. There's not really much. There's that big hill below the convergence, not hit as well. But look, they know, hey, we've got to rotate early. We've got to go get those tags. And that's what they're doing. And it's great to see because look at their path in. They're going to go all the way to the middle of the map, seeing essentially one team.
They'll have their focus locked in. And one of the big things and the big differences from week 1 to week 2 to the south side. Week 1, I believe, was about 5 teams, none of them really contested, all having lots of space to work with. As a result, they got to pick the spots they were in. A lot of them did well, and one of them ended up inside that top 5. Look at this checkpoint, not the most friendly. Don't want to check your passports or your identification. They just want to shoot, ask questions later. Loot Boys will skip that completely. We'll go back to that point about the south in a little bit. Zohan Taki having a fight towards the mosh pit section of the map. This is the northwest crash site. It kind of links Pleasant Park, Coral Castle, and Stealthy Stronghold. Anyone literally ends up here, Clay. I've seen people who land at retail somehow end up here in the first zone to fight. It's like, it's the place to be if you need Surge, if you don't have items, if you're a solo player trying to clutch your arena games, or even inside the FNCS qualifiers. This entire part of the zone gets crazy.
Well, and you see it now with Coral. Coral's team coming over, Link, Fury, and Xavier Jake want to be involved. And this is one of the reasons that Coral is actually a little bit more viable this season, because you can rotate there. The thing with Coral, it was always there's not that much loot. And again, it's another POI that is improved by the loot floor spawn changes. But now there's rotation out of Coral Castle. There's an ability to get more materials that you wouldn't get out of Coral. Hey, it makes it that much easier. So I can see why everybody's going there.
Definitely efficient now. Before it was just like a flavor thing, or you don't have a drop. It was kind of secondary. Now it can kind of compete with some of the best spots on the map. Big thing about any spot you're landing at, though, is you want to be able to leave that POI fast, get into positions like the Siptos Folky Clement are doing right now. I mean, these guys landed all the way at Misty, got their game started super quick, accelerated at this point in the zone, and now they're above Lazy Lake, controlling what seems to be the entire map around them.
Ooh, and a quick stat for everyone. Contested trios won only 8% of set lobbies in Chapter 2 Season 8 so far. So if you're contested and you're winning games, you are just doing something that very few are doing. I mean, it's just that much harder. And we've always known that with Fortnite. We always know if you have an uncontested drop, you're going to just statistically do better, because you don't have to worry about those off-spot fights. You don't have to worry about, hey, this team's going to have better loot, or am I 50-50ing this? Am I going to get it? Or are they going to be able to pick it up before me? It's just, hey, I got to play my game. I got to play it the way I want. And what's interesting about Europe, and I really love seeing it coming over from NA West, is that sort of Airwax style of, hey, get to center of zone, set up, and look for tags.
A lot of teams take that opportunity to do it. That's their set game plan. In a zone like this, it's great, and a majority of them are also uncontested. To comment on that stat, those uncontested teams, I feel like, do better when we don't have these types of zones that hone in towards the center. When you're playing off of momentum and they go way off the edge of the map, just like we had near Craggy Cliffs. You really get to go from unlucky situation to unlucky situation and then thrive and then somehow get stronger. It's unlikely, but it happens a lot for some of these contested teams. Regardless, Snazy, Skite, and Nate gonna stay ahead on the damage this time. They don't have to go all the way across the map towards Steamy Stacks. When into 7 different teams, they get to actually write their own story. And that's huge for a team like this. When Snazy, Skite, and Nate are comfortable in any of the trios I've ever been in any layer, they end up playing very well. That last game, kind of a fish out of water. I feel like this trio adapts poorly to different situations, but when they get to set that situation for themselves first, they really end up having a good game.
And you see it with the way they're rotating. They sent Snazy to rotate out first. They were a little bit separated as well, and now they're here, but Sky gonna get tagged up a little bit. As you see, there's already a lot of teammates here. And what I like about this zone is when you have someone sitting up on that Guardian Tower, and then you have 2 people sitting up on top of the big mountain as well. You get so many different angles, you get so many different looks, and all they gotta do is take that Guardian Tower, build a couple walls, and they'll be able to fly backwards towards you. And so you can get back, and that's exactly what they did. They kind of conceded that Guardian Tower. But setting up for this zone, they have priority position. Everyone else has to play around them. Snazy, Sky, and Date, look at how much of a disadvantage they are here. They're not going to be able to see half of the players rotating in. So they really, really have to hope that there's a lot of players coming from that southeast and southwest. Otherwise, their storm surge is going to hurt.
Might be a little bit of an inverse double-edged sword, if that makes sense. Whereas, yeah, it is kind of bad for them on one side. On the other side, though, like, they don't have to ever worry about any pressure from the mountain, any pressure from some of the godlike teams that are already set up. Jason Reason Chapix, I'm gonna wait 1 second before I comment on it, because always a threshold takes a little bit of time to update. But 345 above, they've really, you know, had good conversations with a lot of teams moving from the north to the south side of the map. They've gone well. The business transactions have been really good. They're up in profits on this surge, and they're keeping things low key towards the south side on this map. I mean, last game we saw it too. They didn't really stay loud and take things first compared to people around them. They let other people jump at opportunities, and then once those players get hindered, last game it was Aqua, they capitalize and kind of fill in the space that should be impossible to fill. This is a crazy rotation in water, something that, you know, if somebody's gun would post, how would you rotate in this zone? You'd answer with, you'd swim all the way around. People say, that's impossible, that's stupid, that's not gonna happen. They make it work. Sneaky, I like it.
And that's very EU. Right? When this map first came out, when this chapter first started, Left Eye did rotations just similar to that, but he did it in first zone. He would go all the way around the outside, farm up as much as he can, fish-wise, hit all the campfires. But that's honestly such a smart rotation, because if there's any way we could see the entire map right now and see where everybody is, you'll see that there's a stark difference with where Retail Row is. If you draw a line straight up that mountain, no one's going to be there to that eastmost side, and it's going to be all theirs. They get more mats, they're able to grab that drop, they can really just get back to where they want to be in this game, because hey, they realize no one's going to do this. It's not the best strat, but hey, it's going to work.
Might need to have a private discussion then, Clay, in terms of Storm Surge strats with Fury, Siberia, Jake, and Link, because these guys have been struggling last game a little bit, and this one too. They're really putting themselves out there to get damage done, and they're still 99 below.
I think with them, they just need to be more decisive. You see Link going for it, Siberia just sitting back. Fury is obviously healing up, so they had to take a little bit of moment there, but still, they're back together, and Siberia is still back healing up. If you've got 150 shield or total HP, you should just keep going at this point. You're 53. Okay, now they're above, so they don't have to, but still 53 above when there's 9 players that need to go down. It's not safe.
Not at all. They're still going to be kind of in trouble. Man who's saving his team out of trouble right now, Snazy, can have another elimination in the feed. Siberia actually getting a knock on the Nate as this is going down, so they have a very big spread out fight happening. Fanai and Robon, they're going to still be here. Not a chance to really interrupt anyone in the early game. It'll all be mid-game action. They have a launch pad to use here as well that I'm pretty sure they should have by their side. I think Subuki just took out Mustache, someone from that team, so that'll happen. And now Mongrel also getting knocked by Scram. Scram and Snazy popping off side-by-side play. Both these teams were here in week 1 as well, alongside Taystons. They have big expectations. They've been in this round before. They have completely uncontested POIs, some of the strongest ones on the map. They really should be ahead of everyone and end up top 5 today.
They should, but it's Fortnite. That doesn't what should happen doesn't always happen, and
but it's a lazy lake.
Most of the time it doesn't. Well, and that's the thing. In my opinion, I would much rather have, I would say, even risky reels uncontested than lazy lake. I just don't personally like lazy lake's layout and where it's located in the map, and honestly the loot. Now I like it a little bit more because the harpoon's back, right? You get a lot of the harpoons there with those fishing barrels. But for me, it's just an awkward POI to loot quickly and get out of. You're stuck looking for ammo boxes. You're stuck in all these different buildings. And with the POI like Risky or a POI like Believer or Holly, you can quickly loot and get out, and you don't have to worry about awkwardly getting caught in a rotation.
Very true. I feel like these teams that have kind of had a lot of expert takes on lazy and the way they break it down. There's so much flexibility after you leave that POI. You can go anywhere on the map. It's almost central. There's so much to do. Snazy has, like, basically, or not Snazy, sorry, Scram has any opportunity to do whatever he wants from that POI, and maybe this time this week it'll be good for him. Eleni, though, lots of damage being dealt right now. I think these guys didn't really have the best surge so far, and past that has been getting beamed over and over again. So Walks, Milan, Eleni, I think combined barely even make up 1 health bar, Clay. This is down atrocious.
I don't even think they make up 1. I think the math is just not there. I think it's maybe 160 HP. They've got the med kits, and when you're this trio, you just hope, hey, I hope, oh, Eleni almost going down there. Very, very close. They're gonna pop these med kits, but you just hope you can make it in and there's no tags on you. You hope, hey, I've got this 2 shield left on me. Please don't tag it off. But my point stands. Look at this map. You don't see anybody to the east of this mountain. There's nobody there. So the team that did that, Trapix and company, they're going to already be set up way better.
The setup might have to wait for just a sec. Blue Boy team completely spread apart on this low ground. Backfeast fighting for Stash and Malibuka alongside Shizo. Hydro and Zestin are fighting Taste and Chapix and Reason at the same time. 40 points for these guys rolling in. They're really elevating the game so far in terms of staying alive with the placement. Have a Elam under their belt as well. But they're struggling with a teammate down. And Hydro's still getting pressured. Finally gets Zestin up. Right now, for a lot of these teams you see on screen, Scram, Hydro, people on top of the leaderboard, Floki, Clement, Deciptos, Malibuka, Mustache, and Shizo. Anyone really above that 30-point mark, it's about maintaining momentum and having a good game too. You want to survive till the 8th zone. Definite win conditions for the overall tournament riding on this game right now for the POVs you see on screen.
Well, and look at how much more of a different disadvantage Hydro is, because they did this rotation a little bit late. Right? Trapix, Taste, and Reason made that rotation early, and now with where the zone is, they're sitting on one of the highest mountains in the zone. And so they don't have to worry about what Hydro is of, I've got to go up this. There's no, it's very unlikely that this zone is going to pull down. There's still a chance. We've seen it with Fortnite, but we know the zones usually prefer mountains and will go up. And see just how bad of a position it is if you take it too late.
Might be able to drop on the backside and go for that airdrop you see on the south. Could be a potential way to get out of this, but their mats are bleeding now. This will be tough for them moving through. They have about a third left inside their builds. Overall, I mean, this is a very tough spot for these guys to roll in with.
Oh, we wait for that zone to show that half in, half out. Woo, and Alani able to make it in somehow, but what they're not making is their shots. Currently is 136 below. It's trending upwards, but that zone closing it, and look, it's going to be right on top of them, so they do get some saving grace, but 48 HP, 103 below. They don't really have an option. They just got to keep going after Laze and Aircon. They really have to keep that pressure down. But just look, their Stormshare just taking them both out.
That's just tragic. They end up going down. So many different players falling in the feet of the lightning, the punishment for not doing enough damage. Taste and Reason, Chapix, they stay high above the clouds, both in damage and in position. No chance that they're going to be affected by this. They get to watch everyone else struggle. Hen's going to be one of those players. Lysen, who's alive last game, is going to be going down right now. Stacey, Skite, and Nate, they're finally ahead of things. They've got everything set so far. It's Stacey himself. He set up this game to really play Clay. Last time, it was him by himself. Got 20 points alone with his clutch. We saw some backside zone eliminations. From 31st all the way to 10th place. That's huge. And this time, he's got his whole team by his side, and they might be even going closer to Caddy, where they started this game. This is going to be huge for the wildcard squad.
Finally get to play their game and actually going to grab some of this loot. That's as huge. Well. They really needed it. You saw the AR ammo go from about 50 to 357. And when you have that mythic burst, all you want is max ammo there. And look at Mustache around the backside, trying to stay up, trying to stay on their feet. But my question is, who currently has high ground? I don't think we've gotten the chance to see it. We see Hydro and Zestin able to make their way up, but look at how much more of a shambles they are in compared to some of the others. Team 24 builds, and it's almost all in wood. Only 3 shields remaining. They don't have a lot to work with, and just look at high ground.
All right, so we move all the way across towards retail. We don't really have to deal too much with how the zone looks. All the comms will just be focused on your lair so far. If it does go back to a mountain, that's 2 big things to take care of. And now, kind kind of deja vu to the first game. Aqua, Fast Roki, CRR, doesn't matter where the zone goes, Height is home. Now, will they get evicted again is a question, but they're staying hot. They're ready. They got the peppers. Let's go.
Already 4 elims as well. So going into this, there's a very big potential that they could take first place after this game if they just keep finding elims, and this is one of the teams to do it. They've got to be careful about these players flying, but look at the bridge they've already set up. They said, you know what, hey, if you're launch padding, you got to go through us, and we see everybody going up. Look at how many, it just looks like popcorn kernels popping up from below, trying to go in. Look, they've already launch padded. They are out. They say, you know what, high ground, we've got to go, but look, there's already a team rebuilding up.
And these were their arch nemesis in game number 1. Gonna be taken out, not gonna be able to interrupt these guys all the way over on Height. Maybe Aqua goes for it again. Yes, they build out land, and now will challenge Aware and Karma, who all the way have that Height. I think they've given it up and also launch padded. Deceptos, Floki, Clement, maybe played a bit too passive. 278 below surge. Really need to find a team and get active right now. If not, it's not going to be players that are going to be stopping them. It's the lightning that strikes from the skies.
And they're trying. There's a team on the other side of the wall, and it really hurts to see when there's someone on the other side of the wall and you've got that harpoon and you're not just going in, you're not just going aggressive, especially with how much damage that surge is about to do. You really think, hey, maybe they need to use it, maybe they need to get in. But again, high ground going over to CR, Aqua, and for Stroky right now, 33 above. There we go. There's the aggression. They're trying to drop these players down. Now 61 above. They're looking good. They're looking great. Even 3 eliminations to their name. Looking to low ground. This is what you want to see. This is where they could take first. But Mustach, to my knowledge, is still in this game. No, now going to fall. Tayson going to be the one to take him down. But still just a knock. His team is up.
Leaderboard was still very close towards that top 5, so the elims might make the difference. Aware taking out an entire trio. That's Ristretto's going down. Erican and Blackie also gonna fall to Skite and Scram all the way on the bottom side of this zone. Mid ground though, very populated. No one wants to touch the dirt. It is elevating and changing like quicksand down below. You might get trapped if you don't move fast enough. Hell will be there with Scram looking for his next move. Flows on the backside of the tarp. Chapix is down though. Big pump from the size of Tayson. This is round 3 for him. He's been really playing the endurance game, fight after fight, and finally running out of breath now. It'll be just reason to kind of push forward and keep the hopes and dreams alive for this team.
But 5 eliminations going out, he's got to be okay with that. His reasons going in, just gonna miss the shots, and that's them going down. Only 8 trios remaining. We got 20 total players. Look at high ground yet again. Karma, they took it from him once. They said, no, we're gonna keep it. Aqua going down, fall damage coming through. ZRR, for Strokey trying to go. CRR down for Strokey. The only one left, he goes down as well. And now it's Zendaya, Karma, and Awar up on the high ground, but second place, the only one in top 4 still alive, is operating with 8 eliminations. Shio on the low ground.
These guys have basically taken apart anyone who's had trouble all the way on the high ground. They played their game very patient from the start in both the first and second, but now it's about time to go for that VR. Floki ends up going down on the backside of this entire tarp. Sipto's in trouble. He suffocates inside the zone. There's barely even any room to move, but he gets free. And now it's him and Clement who make a 2-man operation to try to save this game.
And this is where the charge is going to hurt him. This is the moment where, hey, yes, the charge was great early game, but look, you're just going to go down and pop. They're all down. They're all taking 3rd place. It doesn't matter. They had so many eliminations, but you talk about Scram. They're here. It's a 3v3. Karma up above. Scram's got the loot. They've got the loadout. They've controlled the low ground right now. They've even got a heal off condition with that chug splash. They, I think, got a med kit all around. You've got to assume they do, but 8 eliminations as well. No matter what happens, that's going to be a lot of points coming into this game. They were not inside the top 10. They were sitting at 13th. Look at that shot from Scram. Going to be a good amount. Can use the chug splash to get back healthy. Does have the big shield, but what they don't have is they don't have time, and they do not have materials.
A game of survival on low. Scram does not actually fit the height to ride. A trio of power dropping down. Now it's all up to Flois and Hellfire. They both get quenched. No chance. Extinguished as Zendaya, Karma, and Aware take down Titans inside the European scene. That's a game 2 win. An amazing display of all sides of Fortnite. What a game from these guys.
They were